Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we have a 8-game NBA slate. Before I get started, can you guys smash that like and subscribe button? This slate is pretty interesting. We have somehow, for some reason, they left off the bottom two games, which are the Spurs, Portland, and Memphis, LA Clipper games. So you don't have to worry about those two games at least. But overall, this slate is pretty tight. Most of the games are pretty close, exception of two. Boston is favored by 8 points against Toronto, but that will likely change as the game slate day goes by. And Charlotte is favored to lose to Phoenix by 15. Those are the only two games that really have big spreads here. As for the totals, the biggest total is the Washington Brooklyn game, the Sacramento Atlanta game. Those two games both have very high totals. I do think Oklahoma City, Denver will have a pretty high total as well. But overall, this slate is pretty wild as far as fantasy goes. So we do have a lot of injuries as per usual, which has become a norm here, unfortunately. But we'll look at that here. So for the Knicks, Robinson is out. For the Magic, Isaac, Harris are both questionable, and then Fultz is out. For the Nets, Simmons and Walker out. For the Wizards, Gallinari is questionable. For the Hawks, Hunter is out. For the Celtics, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, and Horford are all questionable. For the Bucks, Crowder is out. For the Cavs, Mitchell, Merrill are both questionable, and Mobley and Garland are out. For the 76ers, Embiid is out. Batum is out. For the Rockets, Jabari Smith is out, and Eason is questionable. For the Nuggets, Gordon is out. For the Hornets, Williams is doubtful. Martin is doubtful. Ball is out, and Hayward is out. And for the Suns, Beal is questionable, and Okiogi is questionable. So we have a lot of questionable tags, a lot of guys out that have been out for a few games, but uh, we will have a pretty good opportunity here to have a good slate. There's not a lot of value right this minute, but hopefully some will open up as the day goes by. It's just been really rough for value with all the injuries, or well, all the guys sitting out games. This is definitely another chaos slate for you. So let's get into the top plays here. So Joker is going to be an obvious top play. Though he's going to be hard to roster with his price point, he's played very well all season long. He's got a high ceiling, and I look for him to have that opportunity to have a pretty monster game here, considering the matchup against the Thunder, who should be pushing the ball a lot in this one. Trey Young also has some utility here. In fact, he's one of my favorite plays on the slate. He is a core play for me. He has played very well in throughout the season, and this matchup here against the Kings should be a razzle dazzle game, should be high scoring, and he should have a lot of opportunity to have a huge game here. His game against Chicago was a little bit not ideal, but he's under $10,000, which gives him a great upside here. Then we'll look at Melton for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's played very well with Embiid out the last two games. I look for his usage to stay up there while Embiid is out, and this is a better matchup than he's had so far, so this gives him a lot of potential here. Houston does sometimes be a little bit stingy, but I do think this game will be pretty good for him, and so he looks like a really solid play, and he's a core play as well. Then we'll look at Sengun for Houston. Now, he definitely has a pretty good matchup here with Embiid out. He should have a lot of opportunity to have a big game. His price is just above where I want it to be, around $8,000, so he's definitely a viable option on the slate. Looking at Jamal Murray, um, I think he is going to go back and forth with Shea Alexander in this one. And with Gordon out, he's definitely going to have more usage as a result. He's played very well the last 5 or 6 games. And he does tend to be a little bit of a streaky shooter, so do keep that in mind. But he has been hitting a lot of threes, and he's shooting the ball very well. And Oklahoma City really doesn't play a ton of defense, so he should have an ample opportunity to have a good game here. Then we're going to look at De'Aaron Fox. A lot of Kentucky guys on the slate that are very viable. Fox has played very well lately. He's got a very good matchup here against the Hawks. I look for Fox and Young to both go back and forth scoring wise. And Fox has a lot of potential because he's got some good players around him that he can get the ball to. And one of those guys is Sabonis, who has a lot of potential today as well. He's going to be hard to roster to a price, but he's got a lot of upside. He's played very well lately, and this matchup definitely lands in Fox and Sabonis' favor. And then finally, Tobias Harris for Philly. He's played very well with Embiid out. This is a tougher matchup, but I expect him to be able to be okay here anyway. He's done well against 3 teams in a row where the tougher matchups, and so I think he's a viable option here and a great play. Very close to being a core play. I kind of want to make him a core play, but the defense of Houston does give me a little bit of pause there from that perspective. We have a few other players that have some upside as well, in Chris Middleton, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Chet Holmgren, but they do carry some risk today, so do keep that in mind. With that said, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. Hopefully some value will open up as the day goes on. If the Celtics have guys out, uh, if any of these guys miss, that would definitely open up some options with White and Holiday and Hauser. And then if we look at the Cavs, that would obviously open up some option if Mitchell were to miss again with Porter Jr., though his price has come up a lot. Levert definitely has some utility on the slate. Then if we look at the Hornets, if Williams and Martin both miss again, that would definitely give Rozier some potential here, though they do have a tougher matchup against Phoenix. There's, the value is kind of streaky today, but hopefully there's going to be some utility. For Atlanta, I forgot to mention that we have some optional, some decent options in Jalen Johnson and Bogdanovich and Bay as well. So with that said, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and have a nice day, guys.